Good evening, everyone. This side Avipsha Guha. Today we are going ahead with sampling versus population. After the last session, we are supposed to go ahead with this. So hopefully my screen is visible to all of you. So let me just go down here. So till last session, we have completed till types of variables. So from today on, we will be starting with sampling versus population, thereby covering the data life cycle, and eventually we'll move into role of analytics in business. After that, if time permits, we'll continue with Excel in details. That would be the practical one. If not, then we will be moving to the next session where we will be starting off with Excel. Okay. So for today, we will be first starting with sampling versus population. So let us start with that. Okay. So sampling and population. So basically, we need to understand this, what is sampling and what is population. Okay. So basically here, what we need to do, we need to understand or imagine that we want to know something about a big group of people or big group of things. Okay. But checking every single person or every single item, it takes a longer time, or you can say it takes too much effort, and sometimes it is like nearly impossible. If the count of the item or the person is too long or too large, actually, then in that case, it is too time taking, too much effort needs to be given in that area, and sometimes based on the number, it seems to be impossible, right? So, what we need to do in that case, we take a small group from that big chunk and study that small group to understand the whole group. Okay, so that is actually what sampling is and what is the exact population is. So we'll just like divide it into different sections like sampling and population, and we'll, with the help of some examples, we'll try to understand what exactly they are. Okay, so I was talking about the big group, right? So this whole big group is the population. Okay, so the whole big group. Okay, so this whole big group is the population. Okay, so this population means every person or item we are interested in, like studying, right? This population means every person or item we are actually interested in knowing about that person. So it is a complete group. Okay, so now let's just take an example. Okay, so example is about, suppose the school students. Okay, so there is a school which contains like the total number, like the total strength of students is around 2000. This is the total strength. Okay, so the total strength of the student is 2000. Now you want to know among them like how many students actually like ice cream. Okay, so this is what you want to know, right? So in that case, this is your condition. This, you, among this person, you want to know how many students like ice cream. Okay, so now in that case, the population is this, all this 200 student is your population, 2000, sorry, all this 2000 student is the Students is the population. Fine. Now going down to the sample. What is the sample? The sample is a small group selected from the population, okay, and it represents the whole population, right? So now what we need to do, we need to like what we wanted to do from this 2000 students. We wanted to know how many people, how many students actually like ice cream. But asking each and every student is a task, right? So we can't like, and also a time consuming task, so we can't like can't give that much of time and effort to ask each and every student that whether they are liking ice cream or not, right? In that case, what we will be doing, we will be just creating a small group. Okay. So in the same example, like the same example itself, instead of doing it for 2000 students, we will be asking 100 students. We will be selecting randomly selecting 100 students among the 2,000. Sorry, we will be taking 100 students among the 200 students, and based on them, we will be asking this 100 students, are they liking ice cream or not? Okay, so this 100 student is 100 students is my sample. Okay. So now this is an example I have given where there is a school that contains 2000 students. The total strength of the school is 2000. Okay. So this population is 2000 itself. Now I have got a task that I need to like somehow tell that how many students like ice cream or not. So doing and asking each and every student that like each and every 2000 students that they are liking ice cream or not is a task, right? So I just want to just make a small group out of it, that is of 100 students among the 2000 students, and I'll perform the task within this 100 students, right? So that will reduce my effort and also give me to some extent like near value that how many students like ice cream or how many doesn't like. Okay. Now coming down to the example two. So example two is like a plants in the farm. Okay, so plants in the farm. So you want to measure the height of each of the plant in the farm. Okay, so this all of this plant, like every plant that is present in the farm, it would be my population. So what is my population? Every plant that is present in the farm. Okay. Now coming down, this is my population. Now coming down for the sample, right? Now sample, instead of measuring all the plants in the field, I will be measuring, I will be measuring, that is, I will be measuring around 20 plants. Okay. So I will be measuring around 20 plants. So this 20 plants would be my sample. Okay, so I won't be measuring each and every plant. I'll go down to each of the plants and measuring each of the plants. That is a really tedious task to do, right? And it takes a lot of effort. So I won't be doing that. Instead of measuring all of the plants in the field or the farm, I will be randomly selecting two plants and I'll be measuring the height of those 20 plants. Now, this 20 plants would be my sample. So, what we can discuss about this, that plant is like this sample basically is equal to like the small part of the population that is used for my analysis or my study. Okay. So that sample actually belongs from the population itself that we are selecting randomly. Okay, so this is all about population and sample. Now we will be doing like why do we need to use like the next question that we will be answering, that is why do we need this sample? Okay, so suppose we want to study something within this population, right? Because studying the whole population would be very difficult. Why? Because the population size is very big. It is really time consuming to give that much of time and effort in studying the entire population, and it's of course too costly sometimes. Okay, so we need to study a small sample that actually represents the entire population. Okay, doing that actually saves time. All of the effort that needs to be put in is been reduced and also do not cost that much. The cost is also like reduced. Okay, so suppose if in technical sense we are calling the population of India, right? You know what's the population of India? It's too huge, so it seems very impossible to go each of the person and ask each of the details, right? That's not possible. In that case, we take a sample from the entire population, do our study within this sample, and try to get some of the related insight from that. Okay, so this is the reason we are using the samples. So some of the real world examples that needs to be discussed that are, so let's discuss some of the real world examples. So the very first real world example that we can discuss, that is like when we go for blood test, right? So our doctor asks for a blood test. So we take a small amount of blood from our entire body, right? So entire body we take a small amount of blood, not the entire blood, right? So that amount of blood exactly represents the entire like blood that is present in a human being body, and while testing that we get some of the insights, right? So that is a real time example. Okay, so suppose you want to taste a soup, right? In that case what you do, you taste a spoon of soup. That actually gives you the idea how the entire soup will be, right? So these are the real world example about population and sampling. Now, let's just go in a bit details about population and sample. So, in a simple one way, if we need to just discuss about it in one to one, then it would be like population is the big group, but sample is a small part that we have extracted from the population itself. Okay. So what I mentioned? I mentioned that population is the big group and sample is the small part that belongs to the population itself that we are selecting randomly. Now, in population, the population can be of items, can be of people, and the sample can also be of the people and the item, but the quantity is lesser. Like the fewer selected quantity we are getting. Okay. But when we are talking about population, we are calling it a complete data, right? But when we are talking about sample, it is a partial data. Okay. Next, it is like studying the entire population is very time consuming. But when we are working with sample, it's not that time consuming. It actually saves the time. Okay. So when we are working with population, since the size is too huge, accuracy is very difficult, right? To get the accurate details because the size is too long, in that case, getting the exact thing or accurate result is very difficult. But when we are going down to sample, so it is easier and must be like the thing is easier and it must be chosen like carefully. Right? It's not that we will be getting the exact and accurate or the perfect result. No, that is not the case. But like there is some of the human based error can be happen when we are dealing with that huge number in case of population, but that can be reduced in case of samples. Okay, so let's take a real world example, like a kind of storytelling way I am telling so that it is easier for you to understand also. So suppose like anyone, a person you know, or you have a large jar of suppose 10,000 colorful jelly beans, right? Now you want to know which color is most common. As you know about this colorful jelly beans, they are of different colors, right? So now you want to know which color is more common in them, right? But you cannot count that 10,000 jelly beans, right? That is too tiring and too tedious process. In that case, what you do, you take a handful of jelly beans, maybe around 50 jelly beans. Now, from that very jar, so this jar with all of this jelly beans is my population, and this handful of jelly beans that I have taken, that is my sample. Okay. Now just going with this jelly beans you got, like this handful of jelly beans, you collected the data from this 50 data. So among this, you got 20 red jelly beans, 15 blue jelly beans, 10 green jelly beans, and 5 suppose yellow jelly beans. So from there, you can guess that the number of red jelly beans are 20. That is the maximum, right? So you can guess that the red might be the most common color in the whole jar. Okay, so this is the entire thing about population and sample. Okay, now we will be going down with the type of sampling. The very first one is random sampling. So what is random sampling? So everyone in the population has an equal chance of being selected, right? So like picking out the jelly beans from the bowl, right? That is called the random sampling. So we are selecting the samples from the population randomly. Like each of the element or people that is there inside the population has an equal chance of being selected. Okay, so that is called as random sampling. Next, we have this systematic sampling. What is this systematic sampling? So we are suppose picking every fifth or 10th item in the list, right? So that is a systematic way of picking. So I am not picking the first element, second element, third element. I am starting from the first element. Now the second element that I'll be picking, that is the fifth element. Then I'll be going down and picking the 10th element. Then I'll be going down and picking up the 15th element. So there is a systematic or synchronous way that is following. Like not all of the elements that are present in the population has an equal chance of being selected. No. So I am following a proper system. So every fifth element I'll be picking up. Okay. So that is the systematic way. So it's like checking every 10 student in the queue, right? So suppose a student is standing, so I am checking every 10 students in a queue, right? So that is a systematic sampling. Now the third one is stratified sampling. So what is the stratified sampling? So we will be dividing the population into groups. Okay, the entire population will be divided into specific groups, and we will be pick some from each of the groups. Okay, so we have a proper setup ready, like a proper population ready. Now the whole population will be divided into specific groups. Okay. So now from each of the group, I'll be taking some elements and I'll form a population out of them. Okay. So for an example, I'm saying like a school, suppose it has, the school has the three classes. Suppose three classes, that is the sixth class, the seventh class, and the eighth class. So the population of the school is divided into three classes, that is fifth class, sixth class, and seventh class. Okay. Now I'll be picking 10 students each from each of the class. Like 10 students from sixth class, 10 students from seventh class, 10 students from eighth class. Okay. So this is the way I am doing a stratified sampling. This is called a stratified sampling. Now going down to the fourth one. Fourth one is the cluster sampling. So what is this cluster sampling? So we are dividing it into groups and randomly selecting some groups and and studying each of the items in those groups. Okay, so the entire population is divided into specific groups as we are doing in stratified sampling. And in stratified sampling, what we are doing from each of the group, we are taking some of the elements or some of the items, right? But in case of cluster sampling, after creating the group, we are randomly selecting some of the specific group. Okay, and we are studying each of the items or person in those groups. Okay, so let's take an example. Suppose there is a village and it has around 20 farms. Okay, so now among these 20 farms, I have selected three farms randomly. Okay, so I have selected this like any three farm randomly. So I'll check all of the plants and all of the like shrubs that are there in the farm accordingly, and I'll get all of the elements or the items that are there for each of my sample, and I'll be checking all of them. Okay, out of 20, I have selected three, and I'll be thoroughly checking each of the elements of the three randomly chosen elements. Okay, this is called the cluster sampling. Now going down to the fifth one, that is the convenience sampling. Okay, so what is this convenience sampling? Like we have to pick whoever is easy to reach. Like it's on my convenience, on my own convenience. Okay, I need to pick whoever is easy to reach. Okay, so it's like surveying people in my own knowing family or class or in my university knowing people. Okay, so that is the convenience sampling. Okay. So we have discussed all of them in details. Now we'll just recapitulate everything so that things are easy to understand. Population is the entire group. Sample is the small part of the population. Now sampling, what is sampling? Sampling is choosing the sample. Okay, choosing the sample, that is called sampling. Okay. Within sampling, we have five different types of sampling. That is random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, convenience sampling. Now, random sampling, like every element of the sample has an equal chance of getting selected. That is the random sampling. So, what is random sampling? Random sampling, like everyone in the like every item or every people that belongs to the population has an equal chance of being selected. Like I can pick anyone. It's like picking out any of the jelly beans. from the jar. Like it's not stratified before from beforehand. I am doing like based on the luck, it will be coming. Like randomization is there. Okay. Now, the after random sampling, we have the systematic sampling. So I'll be picking every 10th item. Every 10th item I'll be picking. So that is a systematic sampling. Next is stratified sampling. So there would be groups. Then from that group, I will be like from the population, we will be preparing small groups, and from each of the group, I will be taking some of the elements or items uh, randomly. Like I will be taking all of the elements, I will be taking all of the groups, and from all of the groups, some of the suppose 10 items I will be taking from each of the groups that has been created. Next is the cluster sampling. Cluster sampling from the population, I will be dividing the entire population into different groups, and from the groups, I will be randomly selecting the groups randomly selecting the groups, and the elements that are present inside the group will form my sample. Next is the convenience sample, that is easy to reach one, so it is going based on the convenience of the person. So that is all about the type of sampling. Now we need to focus on data lifecycle. Data life cycle. So, data life cycle we will be discussing in detail. So, suppose imagine you have a plant, like you have a plant seed, right? So now the plant has an entire life journey. Like the plant was previously a seed, then it grows into a proper plant, then it gives fruit, and one day it completely like leaves the life. It completely leaves the life and then it dies, right? So the data also have a life cycle to go, right? So from the moment it is created to the moment it is deleted, this entire journey is called the data life cycle. Okay, it shows like how the data is born, how it grows, how we have used it, and how it actually ends. Okay, so that is the part of data life cycle. So now data life cycle has 7 important stages. Okay, so we will be listing one by one. So the very first one is data generation and collection. Next one is data storage. Third one is data processing. Fourth one is data analysis. Next one is data visualization. Sixth one is data interpretation. Seventh one is data archiving or data destruction. Okay, so now we will be understanding each of the steps in detail. The very first step is data generation or data collection. data generation and data collection. So where the data is born, this is the very first step. Okay. So this is where the data is born. So the data is created or collected from the different source, right? So suppose how we can create the, what is the difference between data collection and the data generation. Okay. So suppose the teacher writes the marks of the student, right? So that you are getting. So that is the data collection. So data is collected, right? Now, suppose an example of data generation would be like your phone records your steps, right? So the phone is recording the steps that you are doing. So that is the example of data generation. Okay. Now Google Maps tracks the traffic. That is an example of data collection. So Google Map is getting the data from somewhere, right? So that is data collection. Now the hospital records of your blood pressure, your total complete blood test, and your whole body checkup, the details or the records basically, that is actually data generation. That is the data generated. So the like the lab technician that are present in the labs of the hospital, they have taken down the blood samples of yours. They have done some of the analysis and experiments over the blood sample, and eventually given you the report what exactly are the records of your blood, right? So that has been given to you. So that is the data has been generated. So that is the difference between data generation and the data collection. Now, what can be the source of my data? The source of the data can be from different surveys, from hospitals, from apps, from sensors, from machines, from a website, from any of the exams, basically, any of the cameras, website, whatever be it. So, that is the source from where we are getting the data. So in this stage of data generation and data collection, we have gathered the unorganized and raw data. The data that we are getting in the stage, that is entirely raw data and unorganized data. Okay, so this is the first step of data lifecycle. Going down to the second step. Second step is data storage. Okay, so what is data storage? Data storage is like keeping the data safe in a place. That is keeping the data safe at a place. Okay, so this is how, like after we have collected the data, we have to store the data somewhere, right? So without storing the data, how we will be using that, right? So after we have generated the data, we need to store the data. So where we can store the data? We can store the data in database, in cloud, in memory cards, in servers, in our computer memory also, in hard drives, in all of the places we can store our data. So we can like keeping our things in a secured place, right? So we are all aware when we are having something, we try to keep our thing secured in a place that is actually secured. So the data after we have generated and we have collected the data, we have to store the data securely in a place. So that is data storage. Next, coming down to the third step. Third step is data processing. Okay. So what is data processing? Data processing, that is the cleaning and organizing the data. In data, the data in the stage, first step of data generation and data collection, the data that we have received, that was raw and that was unorganized, right? Next, after we have collected the data, we haven't done anything in the data. The way we have collected the data, that is the raw and unorganized data only, we are just storing it in the secured place. Whenever we want that data, we can just take it from there and we can use that. This is the entire idea about it. Now, after storage, we have to do some of the data processing. Data processing is the cleaning and organizing the data. Okay, cleaning and organizing the data. That is the data, the raw data we have got. So that is a messy data, right? So it can have the missing values, wrong values, duplicate values, error values. So we need to do the processing of the data. We need to process the data. We need to make the data clean, organize. We need to filter the data. We need to structure the data accordingly, right? So that is the way, that is the part of data processing. So thereby we will be seeing how we need to do all of the steps accordingly in the practicals. But as of now, these are the steps that we need to follow. Now coming down to the fourth, that is data analysis. What is all about data analysis? Data analysis. Data analysis is like finding patterns, trends, and the meanings. Okay. Now the data is cleaned and organized, right? We need to start answering some of the questions that would be related to the like the data would be able to start answering the questions like what has happened, why did it happen, what can we learn, this kind of information my data needs to give, right? So we use the statistics and mathematics for it. Okay. So basically, this data analysis is like finding patterns and trends and meaning from the data. Okay, so let's take an example. So we have finding like most students like apple. This is my finding, and we have like this is my idea. Like from the analysis of the students, suppose I have done a analysis of 2000 students and I have a finding, and the finding is like most students like apple. Okay, among the fruits, apple is the only fruit that most of the people like. Okay, so this is a finding. Okay, that is actually a finding. That is an analysis. So that is a pattern that we have followed and eventually cracked that. So what is analysis? Analysis is understanding the data deeply. After data analysis, the fifth one is data visualization. Data visualization. Data visualization is showing the data in a in the pictorial format. Okay, showing the data in the pictorial format. So as you know, human beings understand the pictures more than any of the proper graphs, any of the proper sorry numbers. People do understand the pictures more than the numerics or the digits, right? So they have a tendency of understanding that and recalling that more. Okay. So after analysis, we convert this numeric data into visuals. Visuals like charts, graph, bar graphs, line graph, pie charts, maps, dashboard, all of this, so that it is easier for humans to understand, right? So this is the better way of making humans understand, because humans understand pictures faster than any of the number, right? So that is the way of doing it. So after data visualization, then we need a data interpretation. Okay, so we are using the analyzed data to make the decision, that is data interpretation, or we can call decision making. Okay, so we are actually what we are doing, we are using the analyzed data to make the decisions. Now we understand what the data is actually telling, right? So now based on that, we take some of the actions. So this is all about data interpretation and decision making. Now we have the data archiving and destruction or the destruction. Okay, so that is storing for future or deleting that permanently, right? What is archiving? So it is like storing that for the future or deleting that permanently, right? After the data is actually used. Okay, so if after the data has been used, if the data is actually important, so it is archived. What does archiving mean? Oh, it is like storing it for longer period of time. So I'll just store my data again. It might be of more importance to me, so I'll just store the data accordingly. Okay, so that is actually about archiving. Okay, now coming down now coming down, if the data is not of that importance, it is not needed, so it is destroyed or deleted. Okay, so the examples of archiving is like suppose the old medicine report or previous exam data or old customer data that are not required or historical temperature that has been recorded of a city. These are examples of the data that we are archiving, right? Because this sometimes, in some cases, this historical data actually plays a very important role. The old medicine report can have a bit like impact over like that report can have a future can be taken in the future reference also, right? From there, we can take the reference in the future as well, right? So that is the reason we have to archive this data. And destroying the data is like suppose we have some of the extra copies, outdated version of the data, sensitive, unused data, temporary logs. This kind of data we can destroy the data because we at the end we need to keep the storage clean and safe. We can't just store everything there. Like that is the exact reason. That is the way we have to just either do the data archiving or we need to distract the data. Now, exactly in a short form, if we need to just understand each and everything, let's just do that accordingly. So we have the full data life cycle. So the data life cycle is from the data that has from the day the data has born to the day that we are either archiving or destructing the data till that point. Okay, so the first stage is data collection. That is, we need to gather the data storage. We need to keep the data safely in a place. That is data storage, data pre-processing. That is, data should be cleaned and organized so that we can use that. Next is data analysis. Data analysis is the pattern. We want to get the hidden pattern and the meaning that needs to be found out from the data. So that is data analysis. Next is data visualization. Data needs to be shown with the help of graphs and charts so that it is easily understandable because people do understand the pictures better than the numbers and they understand it more easily, right? So that is the requirement of data visualization, then data interpretation. So based on the analyzed data, we have to make some of the data driven decisions, then data archiving or data destruction. So either we are saving the data for future or if the data is of not no such use, we will be deleting the data. So that is the data life cycle accordingly. Okay. So next we will be going down with our next topic. So the next topic, okay. Okay, we have already discussed this here. Let's just copy it up here. We have copied this here. Let's just move ahead. Now, our next topic is about role of analytics in business. Oh, okay. So we'll have to discuss about the role of analytics in business. Okay. So let's just go ahead. So first we need to understand like what is analytics. Analytics is looking at the data carefully and to make some of the smart data driven decision from the data, from the analyzed data. That is the analytics. Analytics is like to understand the data and looking at the data carefully and to make some of the smart decision based on it. Okay. So that is analytics. So now why do businesses need analytics? Okay, because like some about without any of the data, we are actually guessing the stuff, right? We might waste the money, we might like lose the customer, we might like keep any of the unused product. We don't know what exactly is happening, right? So that is the exact idea about the business analytics. That is the role of analytics in business. So actually, like let's just go one by one. So the very first is analytics actually helps business to understand their customers. The very first one is understand their customers. Okay. So in what way, right? In what way? The question might arise in what way this analytics actually helps business to understand their customer. So suppose there is a shop that sells chocolate, biscuit, chips, cakes, all of this, right? So this analytics actually tells the shopkeeper that which items or which products actually the children buy the most, what at what time actually the most children come down to the shop, which age group children like which snack, and why the children like why the kids stop buying that kind of product, which product is not in that much of demand among the children of the kids. So this all insights or analytical result you will be getting, right? So in a simple example, just like getting the understanding of the data and getting some of the understanding over the data, you are able to do or able to get all of these things clearly, right? So that is the understanding about the customers. So this is how businesses understand their customers. Okay. Next, coming down, making better decisions. Okay, making better decision because this analytics actually help businesses to make better decision. Okay, so this analytics actually help in making better decision because businesses must have some of the decisions like should we buy this product or that product, if this product is more selling in sales or in which state of the country we are getting the most number of sales, where the sales are not going that well. This kind of insight if we are getting, based on that we can get some of the better understanding, right? So if the data shows around like 2000 chips packet has been sold per week, and only suppose 50 nut packets are being sold per week, right? So the business person can get a clear idea that the chips are the popular product and this nut packets are the like the least famous or least sold product. Okay, so based on that, the business person will stock more chips uh, for every week and accordingly will stop keeping much stock about this nut packets, right? So this is the decision would be is to make more chips and less nuts. So analytics also help in saving money. Okay. Saving money, like a business actually loses money when they order too much of stock, right? The product or the items that they are buying, but the buyers are not buying that very product. They hire more workers than that is actually needed. They waste time on wrong products or wrong items or wrong tasks. So, right. So, this is what the analytics shows. So, what is wasting money? What is useful, what is expensive, and what can be reduced, right? This kind of analytics, this kind of answer, the analytics actually gives. So that is actually helpful. Now, a shop actually keeps around 500 packets of a biscuit that actually no buyer actually buys, right? So the analytics will show the result and will suggest, like based on the data, the shopkeeper will take the decision not to buy like 500 packets of biscuit. Instead, they can only buy like 10 packets of biscuit per week or per month in that way. So that will stop that the solution is they will be stop ordering so many packets of biscuit, and the money will be saved there, and that money that was getting wasted, that can be like can be put it into those items that are in more demand, that has a major sales in. Okay. Next, analytics also help in increasing the profit. Okay. So increasing profit means like business want to earn what they want to earn more, they want to earn more the money. So analytics actually helps by finding the product the customers actually like. Next, they suggest the right place or right position where the product should be kept. They actually help in targeting the right customers and also improving in sales. So if all of this are getting improved, then of course the profit will get more, right? So if the analytics actually show people more buy like chocolate cookie, this kind of stuff on weekends, so the people will stock this kind of product more in the weekend, and the weekly grocery and stuff they will be not keeping that kind of stuff more in the weekends, right? So then the shop can give the weekends offer, they can add more stuff on the weekend, they can stock more items of such kind in the weekends. So the result is there is more customer in the weekend, so there is more money that is flowing to the business in the weekends. Okay. Next, coming down for the fifth one, so it actually helps. This analytics helps in improving the customer experience. Okay, so this business actually want the customer to feel like happy, they are satisfied, interested, and also valued, right? So the analytics actually tell are these customers actually complaining, what problems they are actually facing, what new services they want, why they are why they are leaving for the competitors basically. So if many customers says the delivery is slow, so the analytics will show this pattern. Then the business will know and they will need they will have a faster delivery in that case. Okay. Next, analytics actually helps in predicting the future, that is forecasting. Okay. Helps in predicting the future. Okay, helps in predicting the future. So analytics is like the like you can call it as like a crystal ball, but it is more better and real. It actually helps the business to guess the future things like future sales trend, future demand, future risk, all of this kind of predictions the analytics actually give. So if suppose like in December, you like in every December this cakes and like this cakes and pastries are sold more. So this analytics actually helps the bakers know to make extra cakes in December, hiring more workforce for this specific month of the year. Next, prepare for any of the big sales. This kind of stuff, the analytics actually predict. Okay, so these are all about the role of analytics in business. This is the reason we are using analytics in more often. Okay, so what exactly analytics do? It helps to understand the customers. It helps in making smart decisions. It saves the money. It earns more of the profit. It makes customer happy. It can predict the future. It can also fix the problem early. It can beat the competitors. It improves the marketing strategies. Like what makes exactly the customers happy, that it understands, and eventually we can get the decision based on that. It improves the daily work better. Okay, so this analytics is of course a business super tool that actually helps the companies to grow, improve, and succeed in their own way. Okay, so this is all about the role of analytics. Now we will be just moving into Excel. So we will be understanding a bit about Excel. So let's just go down to Excel. Okay, so this is Excel. So when you'll be just, let's just open it like that. Okay, just a moment. Let me just close it. Let me just open the Excel file. Yes. So now when you have opened the Excel file, now you have went there, the first interface that you get when you open Excel is this. Since it is already open, so it is showing me like this, but like when you have opened, it was showing me like this. But when you open it accordingly, you will get this interface first, but here all of this information won't be there, but no worries, we can understand. So these are the different templates. So if you click on more templates, here you'll get different types of templates in Excel based on the work you want to do, right? And here it contains many options like new, open, shared, info, save as, print, export, close, all of this. Now, as of now, I'll be choosing a blank workbook. So this is my blank workbook. So we will be understanding about the Excel interface in details. Okay. So just for a reference, this is my Excel workbook. So these are the sheets. So this is called the worksheet. Each of the sheet is called the Excel worksheet. But the entire Excel file where we are adding the sheet, this is called the Excel workbook. Okay. So by clicking here, we can add different numbers of sheets as we want. These are the worksheets specifically. By default, it gives the name as sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Now, if you're right clicking up here, you get all of the different options. Like you can insert, you can delete, you can rename, you can move or copy, view code, all of this you can do it up here. Now, suppose I don't want it, so I'll just delete it. Okay, so now my sheets are coming from sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5. Now, if I want to rename it to Excel interface. So it is saved as Excel interface. Now, suppose I want a sheet before it. So I'll just drag it up here. So it will be automatically exchanged. So sheet 3 will go here. Now I have got the Excel interface. Right? By dragging it, you can change the place of the sheet. Okay. Now, suppose you want to add color. So you can also add color. Suppose color tab you can go, and suppose I want to add this green color, so I'll do it. Now, while I'll be moving here, the sheet will be like it will be seen as a green color. So it is easily understandable, right? So this is what it is. So let's just move it here. Yeah. So I'll be working here only. So now this are specifically is the rows. The rows are named as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the columns are named as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H in this way. So the columns are marked alphabetically and the rows are marked in numerical patterns. Okay. And this specification is the cells. This all are cells. Okay. Uh, the what is sale? It is the intersection of rows and column. By intersection of row and column, a sale is built. Okay, any of the sale is built. Now, this all are this file, home, insert, draw. Next is page layout, formula, data, review, view, developer, help. This all are actually my tabs. Okay, inside my tabs, the entire like this grayish color area is my ribbon. Okay, inside the ribbon, each of this, like this clipboard, alignments, next number, size, this all are the groups. Inside the tabs, we have different groups. So when we are clicking on home tab, we are coming under different kind of groups, like the clipboard groups. Inside clipboard groups, there are many things that are extra. Now, if we click up here, this is the clipboard. Like if we are increasing that, so there are like if we are clicking on, there are other options also that we can see, right? So if we are clicking on here, so we can get some other options that we can like go accordingly. In this short space, this options are not available to put in, so that's why we have the option of expanding it and see the other options that I can like explore through. Okay. Now coming down here, this is the name tab, like this, not the tab, this is the name box. So here, this is my selected cell, okay? So it has a specific name. Each of the cell has a specific name. So it is, this cell is forming by the intersection of B column and 5 row. Fifth row. Okay. The name of the row is 5 and the name of this column is B. So the name of this cell is B5. Now coming down here, the name is showing O6. So O is the name of the column and 6 is the name of the row. So in total, I am getting the name of this cell is O6. Now, if I want to select, so I can just click it and I can write it down. This is my formula bar. Here, I actually write the formulas or anything I want to write, I can write it up here. Not only the formulas, also the text, because in Excel we can write the text and also can store the numericals and also do some of the mathematical operations as well in Excel, right? So, this is my formula bar where I am writing the details. Now here, if I need to select, I'll just long press and hold and just go for the right key of mouse. So it is, I can select accordingly based on the desired desired place I want to do. I can do it. So it's on my wheel. This is how I can just select my like the cell, either select one single cell or multiple cell at the same time. Okay, so this is all about the interface. Now here we have the different views. So the like the breaks actually, the page break, this is the normal, this was the page layout. So this would be the different view actually. So this is the page layout view. Like suppose I want to print it, so how it will be actually looking, my Excel sheet that is showing. So there is a page break, like the page break view also, like if my page will break or not, that kind of view also I am getting. Generally, we work on this normal view. Okay, so this is all about the interface of Excel. Now we'll just go and see some of the details in Excel. So this is the very first thing about Excel, like data separation in Excel. Suppose you have taken a data and your data is like this. So let me just show you how the data is. So here you can see. So I have SL number, employee ID, first name, last name, gender, age. Next I have DOJ, that is date of joining, department, salary, years of experience, years worked in the organization, and LWD, that is the last working day. But it is not on different cell. It is in a single cell, and it is the things are like all of the specific column names are divided, like is separated basically by using comma. Now I need to take it from here, this to this. Okay, so how we can do this? First, we will be understanding that. So first, I need to select the entire column. So I'll do Control Shift down key. Now I'll be going down to data. Now I'll be going text to column. Now I'll be adding delimited. Now I'll go to next. It has been separated using comma, so I'll select comma and I'll do next and I'll go for finish. So now you can see that the data has been separated accordingly. Okay, so this is how, if there is anything like this, the previous way as I show, if my data is like that, then this is how I need to segregate my data into different cells, into different cells. Each of the data would be in different cells. Okay, so this is how we have to do it. So here you can see in this data that this last working day is majorly null for two people. We have got the last working day, but that means this two people has already left the organization, but other people are still in the same organization. Okay, now we'll do some of the basic formatting here. This is another data set. So it contains around 50 data. So one more thing I need to show it to you. So this is my age column. Now I'll be selecting the entire column. So Control Shift down. Okay, just a moment. Control Shift down key. So now I have got the selection over. So now you will get the average of the all of the age that we have got, the average, the count, and the sum. The count is 51 because it has already taken the age column also. Okay. Now, if I am going like this and selecting from 29 going down, so it will be giving me the count as 50. The average is as it is 34, and the sum is also 1700. Okay. So now here what we need to do, we need to just do the basic formatting here. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to do some of the basic formatting here. So how we need to do that? First, we need to check about the alignment. Okay. So we need to fix the alignment. So first, we will be entirely selecting the entire data. So we can do either, okay, just a moment. So either we can do Control A or Control Shift right down. Okay. So like this, we can also select the entire data set. Now I for doing the alignment to the central, like the center alignment if I need. So I'll be doing Alt HAC. Just a minute. We will be pressing Alt HAC. Okay. So I guess you have seen that it has all got into central align. The alignment is centrally aligned. Now, suppose I need to take it to like I need to do the borders accordingly. I need all borders. So I'll be using Alt HBA. So again, I need to select my entire data. So I have selected. Now I have to go for the shortcut key. Okay. So now you can see that we have got it accordingly. Now, no, for the borders, it has not came. Just a moment. So we'll be using Alt HBA, Alt HBA. So now you have seen that it has got the borders accordingly. Now suppose I want the border darker outside. Okay, so let's do it. Alt H B T. Okay, let's see. It has taken the border darker, so there is no issue with that. Yes, it has taken it accordingly. Now, what I need to do, suppose I need to do like I have to bold it down. So I'll just select it, Control Shift right. Now I'll be using Alt H1. So it has given me the colors. So either I can choose the Alt HH is for colors. So for bold Alt H1, but it has some things. So let's do it again. So it will Alt H1. So after doing, it has taken it bold, or you can use Control B. Now for underline, if for underline, I'll be using Alt H3U. So again, if I need it, so I'll do Alt HBU. Okay, just a moment. Just a moment. Okay, let's just fix this first. Now, yes. So it has got accordingly. Okay, so we have got it accordingly. The details we have got, everything we have got. Now we need to just fix the width. So how we will be doing it? Either we can drag it like that, or we will be double clicking up here. So it will be auto adjusted accordingly. Okay. So this is how we can just drag and work it accordingly. Uh, yes, yes. So this is how we can do the basic formatting. Now suppose if we need to just do it accordingly, so I'll just control shift right down and I'll be using control T. So let's just, okay, so it has been automatically formatted into a table format. Okay, now here from here, I can choose any of the format that I want. So it's look good for me, so I'll choose this one. Okay, so this is how I can do the basic formatting. Now, if I need to do some of the basic formula, so I'll be doing some of the basic formulas here. So let's just copy it down. Control C, and here I'll go and Control V. Okay, yes. Now, of course, you need to fix the width and all because that is the part that needs to be taken accordingly. So these are the parts that you can do. Okay. So now here I need to do some of the basic formulas that we need to do. So how we can do it? Let's suppose I need to do the sum. So what I'll be doing, I'll be using sum. I'll be using sum operation, yes, and where you need to do the sum. So you'll be selecting this, going down, going down till here, right? So you'll close the bracket and hit enter. So you have got the result as 2806000, right? So now if you want, like let's just click it accordingly. Let's just select the entire phase. Let's just check it. So this is our we have selected. Now here also you get the sum. So you can just cross check that is the sum is right or not. Right? So this is the sum you have got of this, and this is the sum they have given. So accordingly you cross check that the things are okay or not. Right? So this is how you can do the summation. Now if you need to do any of the average, so a average, So you have got the average tab. Now come down, just select from here, going down till here, right? Now close the bracket, hit enter, you got the average. Now if you want to select, like see it accordingly, just select it. Now come down and see the result, verify the result. It's 9.84, it's also 9.84, right? So you have got the result accordingly. So these are the operations that we can do. There are multiple of other operations that we can perform over it. So we will be seeing that in the next day. So today we will be ending our session here. So we have gone through, seen how in Excel basically how we can separate the data, how we can do the basic formatting using some of the shortcuts, then we have used some of the basic formulas, and this is how all about it. Okay, so this is we have seen how we can do the summation operation, we can do the average, and also seen the interface of Excel in details. Okay, so in the next session we'll go down and see each of them in details and do some other formatting over here. We can see some what other formattings we can do up here, and also we can see what are the other formulas that we can use over here, and how we can do the data processing in Excel, like data pre-processing in Excel. Okay, so thank you guys for joining today. So we'll connect on the next session accordingly, and we'll continue to work in Excel. So we have started from the very basic from Excel, but we will be covered till forming a entire dashboard in Excel from the very basic. Okay. So all of these things we will be covering in detail. So accordingly be there, and we will be connecting in the next session. Thank you everyone. Bye guys.